Hey guys, George from SME here, and today we're going to do a deep dive into SME's second BI quadrant, which is data integration and automation. So in our last video, we talked about where we store data, how we process it, and really a lot of these systems are great, but they're not going to be the final resting place for our data. Data usually needs to be served up to BI applications, data science platforms, or even other data warehouses and databases. But how do we get that data to go from point A to point B? And this is where the concept of DataOps comes in. Being able to create robust data pipelines between your systems to make sure that your data moves from your databases to your data warehouses to your applications seamlessly and with a little bit of automation sprinkled on top. So let's go ahead and dive into the presentation to see how SME is accomplishing this. So in our quadrant, we have two distinct partnerships that both serve two different use cases within the data integration and automation space. So the first is universal data movement. So SME has a strategic partnership with a tool called Precog, which is the world's first AI data loader. What that means is that you're able to connect to all of your different source systems. It could be a database like SQL Server, Oracle, or even MemSQL. It can be a data lake like S3. It can be NoSQL database like MongoDB, Redis, Couchbase, and even API sources. And this is where Precog really shines in that you can connect to thousands of APIs, whether it be Salesforce, HubSpot, Marketo, Jira, it could be Zendesk, MailChimp. All of these different platforms you're able to quickly connect to and take that API data and flatten it to be a relational table structure and push it down to your downstream applications. So this can be a data warehouse like Snowflake, BigQuery, Redshift. It could be a database like MemSQL again. It could also be a tool such as ThoughtSpot. I think Precog is the only tool that can natively push data into ThoughtSpot using TS load into the Falcon database. And that's how Precog works for all of its tools. It's able to get it out of the source system and into the destination using the fastest mechanisms possible, with the data never being at rest. And one of the best parts is that Precog and SME have partnered to provide a SaaS-based MSP offering called SME Data Movement Services, where we manage it completely. We'll do all the administration. You can provide us with the source and destination and a schedule, and we'll take care of the rest. So pretty great in being able to get your data out of any source and into any destination. But now let's look at the other side of the quadrant, which is more geared towards data pipeline automation. So SME has been accredited with Qlik in their data integration services, and these are the products that were formerly the Attunity products, Compose and Replicate. Now, what these tools allow you to do is allow you to accomplish change data capture as well as data lake and data warehouse automation. So to paint the picture, let's use an example. Let's say that a company has a Teradata deployment as their on-premise data warehouse, but they're ready to move to the cloud, like something like Snowflake. And they may be connecting to systems such as a SQL Server instance, maybe even a mainframe such as IBM DB2, and it's feeding Teradata, but now we need to move that over into Snowflake. So this is where Replicate comes in. You can easily establish change data capture to take the data out of the source systems and mirror them in real time into the destination. So if data comes into the mainframe or your database, it's going to be reflected in Snowflake automatically in real time using change data captures based on logs. But then let's say that you have business logic in your Teradata environment that you need to recreate in Snowflake. Are you going to pay a DBA to go in and do all of that? And how long is that going to take? Months, years? Well, Qlik Compose allows you to essentially take business logic, reapply it to your new source systems, and with automated ETL that requires a zero line of code, you're able to recreate all that logic. You're going to save time because it's going to go from months to years to days or even hours, and the cost savings because of that are going to be tremendous. So this is why companies are flocking to the Qlik data integration platform, because there's a lot of movement between on-premise systems into the cloud or even legacy systems into modern day applications, and the ability to mirror them as well as recreate the logic without any coding whatsoever is just a phenomenal way to modernize your data infrastructure. So that's all I've got for this quadrant, guys. Let me go ahead and back out into my presentation. And what we're going to cover in the next one is data governance and literacy. So this is a blending of technical skills as well as the softer side of understanding of the business data and how you can utilize that to make sure that you're making the best decisions off of the data without needing to get too wild with how to set it up. So that's all I got for today, guys. What we're going to do is I'm going to put the link to our website down here where you can find blog posts, articles, videos, as well as you can reach out to us directly if you're interested in learning more. So until next time, guys, have a good one.